Yo, what's up YouTube family? It's your boy Koozie, back at you with another hot TikTok reaction video. Today we're going to be reacting to some creepy and strange TikTok reactions. These videos are for entertainment purposes only. Don't believe anything that you hear or see in these videos. Don't believe anything that I say in these videos. Always use your own discernment and always do your own research. Let's get right to it.
How do you go outside without wearing like a fucking hazmat suit? Imagine you walk outside in like shorts and a t-shirt, they all latch onto you, and your body just shrivels up like somebody drinking out of a Capri Sun really quickly. We're looking at about 1 million mosquitoes on this fucking screen right now. One of them has to have a deadly disease. Come on. And you're telling me, I know it's in Texas, right? It's not like in some weird pond in the middle of nowhere that's been fermenting for weeks and it developed some weird version of the Black Plague. But I'm telling you, one of these has to have like syphilis or something, you know? If a mosquito stings someone with AIDS and then stings you, do you get AIDS? How does that work? I doubt that's how it works. That was a stupid question.
Y'all think that's a real looking alien gray? Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section.
Year-old families, Medici. Under that, you have the Vatican, the Pope.
If y'all want to know what Kanye is talking about, it's public knowledge. Go on to CIA.gov, or you could go on Google, look up CIA.gov 13 family.
How many of y'all heard of the Black royal family, the Medici family? Not a lot have. These are the part of the, I think they said the 13 bloodlines, y'all. Pay attention now.
Seal says, I am down 2 miles under the ice in Antarctica. We're looking at symbols and hieroglyphs that are carved 7 centimeters into pure black basalt rock. Symbols carved everywhere. 18 feet thick doors. He said, as you approach these doors, it's a technology we do not understand. He said they just would touch the door. Like the walls are reactive, the door would open.
Tuskegee.
Y'all think of some truth to what she's saying? Y'all let me know what y'all thinking in the comment section.
Syphilis experiment was a clinical study conducted by the US Public Health Service between 1932 and 1972. The study was conducted in Tuskegee, Alabama, and involved 600 poor rural African men. The purpose of the study was to observe the natural progression of untreated syphilis in men. The participants were not actually given treatment for syphilis, even though a cure for the disease had been developed. The study was conducted without the participants' informed consent and was kept a secret for decades. It was not until 1972 when a leak to the press exposed the study, which led to its termination.
Something to think
You ever heard
about.
of the Tuskegee experiment? So this was an experiment in 1960 in Alabama. They asked 600 African-American men to do an experiment. In exchange, they would get health insurance. So what they were doing was they was giving these African-American men syphilis, and they was promising like, yeah, we're gonna give you like the vaccine and things like that. But like they would give them shots of the vaccine, but it was like a fake. Half of the test group died. They was trying to see like what are the effects of syphilis, and like they weren't even giving them no health insurance. And this was going on for like 40 years.
Like I know the government still does stuff like that, so like why not just ask people to volunteer and give them money for it?
And you know they probably don't want to give nobody money.
Yeah, that's the reason.
Everybody's cheap. Everybody in the world is cheap, from me to the president. Everybody cheap. They will find any way to like not spend money.
I bet y'all got a question, huh? Man, why they keep doing that, you know, as black people? Why they keep doing it to the poor nigga? Why they keep experimenting on the poor nigga? Ask yourself that. They keep telling y'all about this and that, and about our special genetics and special DNA and all this and that, and it's no coincidence. That's all I'm gonna say. We're more special than we want to believe. Have y'all heard of her? Have y'all heard of what she's going through? They said she's used to be high up in Estee Lauder, the makeup company and stuff like that. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Some people say she got schizophrenia. Some people say she's actually being gangstalked. Let me know if y'all know what gangstalked is and all that. Y'all let me know in the comment section down below. It's getting creepy out here, y'all. Hey, help her out now. We gotta help her out.
They've got humanoids.
I believe this. They've already used CRISPR to enhance children
with higher intelligence.
Yes.
In China.
Well, it was actually.
What y'all think about them super soldiers? And if her story was correct of what's really going on, y'all, man, we need to come together, y'all, for real, because she's not the only victim, man. You could be a victim. I could be a victim tomorrow, easily. By spreading the wrong information that they don't want out, I'm telling you. But just going against the grain, period. What the fuck, man? Every time I try to get something going, there's always something.
Yo, have you ever heard about the conspiracy theory surrounding the Statue of Liberty? If not, then you gotta stay around, because this shit is crazy. You know what's crazy? But help me see this is the symbolism that's placed within the Statue of Liberty. You got the 7-point crown, and why specifically 7? I'll get into it. You got the torch that the Statue of Liberty is holding. And symbolism. And then you have the chains around the feet of the Statue of Liberty. But people do say that the chains represent freedom. But pay attention to the country for real, like with no bias. What freedom? And back to the 7-pointed crown of the Statue of Liberty, which they say represents the 7 seas and the 7 continents, representing freedom, peace, enlightenment, a whole bunch of stuff that we do not see on a regular basis from all 7 continents. Hold on, this where it get real interesting at. Watch me tell y'all what it allegedly really means. See, now this is where it gets real interesting. A deep look at this sculpture behind me. The name of it is Le Genie du Mal, also known as the Fallen Angel, also known as Lucifer. Look closer, what do we see on the bottom? A torch. Take a look at the crown. And you see how many points there are? 7, representing the 7 deadly sins. And you see the chains around the feet of Lucifer here. And then to make things worse, do you see the apple there on the bottom? Here's the Statue of Liberty located. The Big Apple. And then you have the name of the Statue of Liberty, which is Liberty Enlightening the World. And then, of course, the name of Lucifer, the bearer of light, or morning star. I don't know about y'all, but to me, there's no such thing as a coincidence. And this right here is too crazy, too many things line up for this not to be some sort of truth. Y'all go ahead and let me know what y'all think about this entire conspiracy, quote unquote, in the comments. And of course, for more high quality content, y'all go ahead and link in the bio for the YouTube channel, BPM TV, and for the podcast, TMN5, 3 Brothers with a Mic. Love y'all.
The Tuskegee Airmen,
Man, y'all do your research. It's all going to add up. I promise you, man.
Were an experiment by the U.S. Army Air Corps to determine whether black pilots could handle military flying. In 1925, there had been a study published that stated that black people were incapable of being combat pilots. They couldn't fly airplanes. They didn't have the strength of character to be combat pilots under stress and pressure. And the Tuskegee experiment was basically to find out if that was true.
Everything was stacked against us. We were inferior to the white man. We were nothing. We overcame all that. We proved in the end that we were the best. We were better than they were.
In 1949, Colonel Harvey and his team of Tuskegee Airmen won the first Top Gun competition. It was held at Nellis Air Force Base in Nevada and was a competition among all the squadrons of the U.S. Air Force. Even though they won the competition, the winners were listed as unknown for decades. In January 22, a ceremony was held at Nellis Air Force Base in Nevada. From this day forward, the Tuskegee Airmen will be recognized as the winners of that competition.
Thank you. That's a step in the right direction. It's been a long time coming, but it's here.
How many of y'all out there heard of the Tuskegee experiments and the Tuskegee Airmen? That was about the Tuskegee Airmen. You know what I'm saying? It's a very prominent story out there. But y'all let me know what y'all think down below. And I don't like the way he said black, man. It's like too much emphasis, too much, you know, like he didn't, you know, yeah. Y'all know what I'm getting at, man.
Oh my god, watch this movie, it's real fast. Movie title on the end. Watch.
We found a kid here. He's about 14, 15 years old.
What?
The thought of what somebody could have done to him.
This
It
is
gives you
crazy.
nightmares.
He doesn't have no ID, no documents on it. He's very scared.
3 years later.
From as long as I remember, I wanted to be someone else.
We had no idea
what
kind of person we were getting. He had changed so much.
There was just something wrong about it.
Go ahead and watch.
Strange movie to me.
In 18th, 19th, and 20th century Europe, black women aristocrats belonging to nobility lived in various European countries. However, when you research about them, you will find even the most credible sources showing them as white. The paintings and historical records suggest that all European queens and princesses were white. But the truth is quite the opposite. Today we know that various European women aristocrats, princesses, and queens were black, which you should know about. In this video, we will tell you how Europe hid its history and whitewashed it by showing the black women of nobility as white. Watch the video until the very end, because this is going to change how you think about European royal families and aristocrats. Let's get started. Number 1. Queen Charlotte of Great Britain, Sophie. Charlotte was born in the Duchy of Mecklenburg-Strelitz, now part of modern-day Germany. She was the daughter of Duke Charles Louis Frederick of Mecklenburg-Strelitz and Princess Elizabeth Albertine of Saxe-Hildburghausen. Even though her family's lineage connects to various European noble houses, her genetic roots lie in Africa. Queen Charlotte married King George III and served as the Queen Consort of Great Britain and Ireland. As Queen Consort, Sophie Charlotte occupied a distinguished position within the British royal family and European nobility. She held the title Her Majesty the Queen and gracefully fulfilled ceremonial duties and social responsibilities befitting her esteemed status. However, she was not from the white European aristocracy of that time. Rather, her genetic roots were African, and so was her complexion. Even if every historical source shows her as white, she was black in reality. And this is proven by the accounts of people who met and explained her features. Some art historians and researchers have pointed to features in portraits of Queen Charlotte that show her African heritage, such as her facial characteristics and skin tone. Furthermore, certain 18th century artworks portray her with what can be perceived as features not typically associated with European heritage because she really had African roots. One particularly notable piece of evidence comes from a 1773 letter written by Lord Chesterfield, a British nobleman. In this letter, Chesterfield made comments about the Queen's appearance, stating, "Her nose and chin are very large, and if she was not as black as a coal, she would be ugly." It's important to recognize that this statement reflects the perceptions of beauty and racial descriptors of that era, which differed from contemporary understandings. Yet this proves Queen Charlotte was not white. Another historical account comes from Ignatius Sancho, a former slave who became a writer and correspondent in 18th century England. In a letter to the Duke of Montague, Sancho mentioned Queen Charlotte as having a true mulatto face. Some have interpreted this reference as potential confirmation of Queen Charlotte's African ancestry. Now, it's quite clear that Queen Charlotte's grandmother, Sophie, had African heritage through her maternal line. Sophie's mother, Margaretha von der Sale, was of African origin, suggesting that this lineage contributed to Sophie Charlotte's physical appearance. Queen Sophie Charlotte was celebrated for her love of arts and sciences. She ardently supported the works of German composer Johann Christian Bach and maintained a personal orchestra at her court. Number 2. Dido Elizabeth Bell. Dido Elizabeth Bell was born in 1761 in the West Indies. She was the daughter of Sir John Lindsay, a British naval officer, and an African woman, Maria Bell, who had been enslaved on a British ship. After she was born, Dido was brought to England, most likely by her father, and joined the European aristocracy while being a black woman. She was placed under the care of her great-uncle William Murray, the first Earl of Mansfield, and his wife Lady Elizabeth Murray. Dido held an exceptional place in British society during that time. She grew up as a companion to her cousin Lady Elizabeth Murray, and were both raised in the Mansfield household. This situation was uncommon because Dido had African ancestry, and racial bias was prevalent in 18th century England. Dido's great-uncle, Lord Mansfield, was a significant figure within the British legal system. He eventually rose to become the Lord Chief Justice of England. It should be noted that her rulings in some pivotal legal cases had significant consequences for the movement to abolish slavery in England. One such case was the well-known Somerset v. Stewart case in 1772. In this instance, Lord Mansfield's decision declared that slavery couldn't be upheld by English common law. While this ruling didn't directly put an end to slavery in England, it marked a notable stride toward its eventual demise. Dido's presence within the Mansfield household and the influence of her great-uncle's legal decisions are often regarded as a symbolic turning point in the struggle against slavery and racial prejudice in Britain. Her life has served as inspiration for novels, films, and documentaries. The 2013 film Belle, directed by Ama Asante, delves into her story and her position within British society. Before we continue further, tell us, are you enjoying the video? If yes, please like and share the video and subscribe to our channel to watch more videos on Black culture, history, civilization, and identity. Let's continue now. Number 3. Sarah Forbes Bonetta. In 1843, Sarah Forbes Bonetta was born in what is now Nigeria, bearing the name Omoba Aina. Tragically, her parents were captured in a slave hunting raid when she was just a child. During one of these brutal assaults, she was seized by the king of Dahomey, in modern-day Benin. The year 1850 marked a turning point for Sarah Forbes Bonetta, when she was presented as a gift to Captain Frederick E. Forbes, a British naval officer during his diplomatic mission to Dahomey. Captain Forbes was profoundly moved by the heart-wrenching circumstances of Sarah's life and resolved to bring her to England. Upon her arrival in England, Sarah was bestowed as a gift to Queen Victoria and Prince Albert. The royal couple, known for their staunch abolitionist stance, were deeply touched by her tale and took on the roles of her godparents. Queen Victoria conferred upon her the name Sarah Forbes Bonetta, adding Forbes in honor of the naval officer who had rescued her and Bonetta from the name of his ship, the HMS Bonetta. Sarah Forbes Bonetta had the rare privilege of receiving an education in England, an extraordinary opportunity for an African girl of her time. She was added to the European aristocracy, having close ties with the British royal family. She was introduced to high society, partook in social events, and even acquired musical skills. It's because Queen Victoria showed a keen interest in her upbringing. In 1862, Sarah married James Pinson Labulo Davies, a prosperous Yoruba businessman who also hailed from African royalty. Sarah Forbes Bonetta Davies made numerous journeys to Africa throughout her life. Her husband's involvement in trade between Britain and West Africa resulted in their residencies in various locales, including Lagos, Nigeria, and Sierra Leone at different junctures. Number 4. Queen Ranavalona III. Queen Ranavalona III's status in the European aristocracy is quite unique. Born in 1861 as Razafindra Haiti, Ranavalona III belonged to the Merina ethnic group, which held sway over the central highlands of Madagascar. Her mother, Princess Rahela Soa, placed her under the care of Queen Ranavalona II and King Rasoherina since they had no other heirs. This decision paved the path for her eventual accession to the throne. In 1883, after the passing of Queen Ranavalona II, Ranavalona III ascended to the throne at the age of 22. Her reign unfolded during a challenging period when European powers, particularly France, were in contention for control over Madagascar. Throughout her reign, Ranavalona III enjoyed international recognition as the legitimate ruler of Madagascar. She held the title of Queen of Madagascar, and her sovereignty was diplomatically acknowledged despite the creeping influence of colonial powers, notably France, on Madagascar's self-governance. Ranavalona III's reign was marred by substantial difficulties. European colonial powers, with France at the forefront, sought to extend their dominion over Madagascar, eventually leading to the island's colonization. Despite her persistent efforts to negotiate and preserve Madagascar's independence, political tensions with France escalated. In 1895, through the Treaty of Betsileo, Ranavalona III was compelled to abdicate her throne, resulting in Madagascar becoming a French colony. Both she and her husband, Prime Minister Rainelea Rivoni, were exiled to the French-controlled island of Reunion, unwillingly becoming members of the European aristocracy. Since her country was invaded and became a French colony, she had to move to France and live like a political exile. But this made her French nobility. Number 5. Princess Teresa of Saxe-Hildburg House.
Man, y'all let me know why would they hide that. And I know we all seen the movie Queen Charlotte or Charlotte. If not, y'all go check it out. You know what I'm saying? It's a good watch, man. It kind of gives you an idea what really went on back in those times. Y'all let me know what y'all think about that down below in the comment section. Wake up, wake up, wake up. All I know is that book is important and it's worth something, man. And hey, man, y'all let me know what y'all think about that down below in the comment section. It's very dangerous. Don't be caught with it.
See, my surrogate mother was Viola Armstrong. She had a son named Neil. Oh, really? As you know, the story goes, he went down to Antarctica, had a heart attack, stroke combo, and came back. And then there was stuff on the internet. I had to look at Buzz and ask him, Buzz, what happened down there, Bud? Buzz did say one thing, and it just stuck in my head. It's the way he said it. He just said, we thought out things we shouldn't. And if Buzz saw something, I don't know what it was, but it was enough to give the man a heart attack. So if there are beings down there, I would think these beings never planned on us. They've been there, they came in millions of years ago. They've been under ice for millions of years. I don't think they were expecting us.
Let me ask the thing about Buzz Aldrin, that there was this very cryptic tweet that came out during his stay down there. He said, "We have seen the faces of evil and we're all in danger." And this is right before he had his heart attack. And I can tell you, logistically, to do a medical evacuation from the interior of Antarctica is very difficult and very expensive. So something must have majorly gone wrong.
To underscore the fact that when the C-130 crew had dropped them off, they disappeared. And then when they went to try to find them, there was nothing at the National Science Foundation camp at all. Nothing.
They were
moving.
gone.
They were
dozen
totally
scientists.
gone. And when they did show up, they had been missing for a couple of weeks. And Brian S. and the C-130 flight crew were then sent back. And they were expecting that they would see this group of scientists out to meet their plane, doing this, yelling, something. And he said they were lined up like birds on a wire. They were all kind of next to each other, and most of them had their heads down looking at their feet when the C-130 was pulling up. And that somebody had to go from the flight crew over to the scientists and direct them to get onto the plane. And they talked about how not one single scientist said one word. Most of them walked with their looking down at the ground.
Brian said when they got them loaded up, he said to his flight chief, "What in the world? Where have they been?" And the flight chief said, "I don't know. We can't get a word out of them." And during the flight, Brian went and sat down next to one of the scientists, and he said he leaned over and touched the scientist's knee, and the man never looked up. And he said, it was as if we were dealing with 12 or 15 people who had suffered post-traumatic shock syndrome, that they were unnaturally frozen in their position and no speaking, and that they all looked afraid. That one of the SEALs that I have talked to that is not in the video said that as they walked for a mile or 2 miles into these very strange created architectures, they reached a point where something started coming through the walls out into the air. At first, it would go in and out of visibility, and then they realized that their minds were being manipulated, and then when they could see it clearly, and it was coming in and out like a television signal in the air, it appeared to be covered with scales, like an armadillo, the surface of an armadillo. And he said, when you are face to face with something like that, and you are trained in military to kill, but you're dealing with something you've never seen, and it can go in and out of visibility, and you know that your mind is being taken over by something that you are fighting. He said that happened in one of those corridors, and that was 2012.